All right, class, this is part two of the notes on England and her colonies. We looked at the relationship, mainly the economic and political relationship between England and her colonies in the last video. We focused on the theory of mercantilism and how that affected the relationship between England and her colonies as far as trade goes. We looked at the idea of self-government and when self-government is taken away in the colonies, such as when the Dominion of New England was established. You see that the colonies uh, strongly dislike the idea of having their representative assemblies. They don't like the idea of not having any sense of uh, self-government there, and we'll see that England will eventually loosen their grip and enter into a period of salutary neglect. We also looked briefly at the agricultural South and how that was set up. We mentioned the difference between indentured servants and slaves. And then we looked at the development of the triangular trade network. This is one of the reasons why slavery became increasingly popular in the American South. And we left with the Middle Passage. The Middle Passage, remember, is the voyage that brought Africans to the West Indies and later to North America as slavery becomes more widely used in the English colonies. It's called the Middle Passage because it was considered the middle leg of the transatlantic trade triangle. You'll start this middle passage in this voyage, this journey is extremely cruel. Um, it starts in West Africa, where European traders branded Africans with red hot irons for identification purposes. And packed them into the dark holds of large ships. You'll see two diagrams there, or two pictures that depict how these human beings were packed in, much like you would any other product that you're trading overseas. Very inhumane. When you're on this slave ship, Africans are going to be whipped. They're going to be beaten. They're going to fall victim to disease. On these ships, the smell of blood and sweat and human waste filled the ships. Because these African passengers, as you see, had to live in their own vomit and waste. One African, Aluda Equiano, excuse me, described these conditions, and I'll read from you a quote. He said, "The closeness of the place and the heat of the climate added to the number in the ship, which was so crowded that each had scarcely room to turn himself, almost suffocated us. This produced copious perspirations, so that the air soon became unfit for respiration from a variety of loathsome smells, and brought on a sickness among the slaves, of which many died. Nearly 20% of the Africans aboard each slave ship will perish in the brutal trip to the New World." And this slave trade will continue until 1808, when the United States government outlaws it. Africans will cope in their new world. Even though when they stepped off the slave ships, they spoke a variety of different languages. When they were forced to labor in a strange new land, these diverse peoples bonded together for support and fought against their plight in many different ways. And out of this, they were able to keep alive their musical traditions. They retold stories of their ancestors, and you will see a distinct African American culture be created in the colonies as a result of the institution of human slavery. In your notes, you will look at the Stoner Rebellion, so I will not spend too much time on that. In the North, the New England and Middle colonies, they were a lot more diverse. They were diverse in their economics, and they were diverse in their social structure. In the New England Middle colonies, you see a variety of industries, developed. In the middle colonies, you see things like the fur trade develop and become very profitable for colonies such as New York. And New England, you see shipbuilding, you see fishing, you see lumber. These are all types of industries that were developed in New England that became extremely profitable. In the middle colonies, it would be the fur trade, it would be wheat. If you recall in your colonial flip chart, the middle colonies were known as the breadbasket. Um, the New England yeah, and middle colonies, they were just as diverse in their society. Um, as they were in their economy. In the at the beginning of the 1700s, most of the people who had immigrated to the English colonies were from, in fact, from England. Um, most of these immigrants were indentured servants that came from England. But as we get into the second half of the 1700s, by 1755, more than a third of European immigrants were coming in from other countries. These are immigrants that are coming from Germany. These were the Scots Irish. These were the Dutch. These were the Welsh. And we see as the colonies become more and more diverse, they're also bringing with them different religions, different languages, and you really start to see the positive effects of this growing ethnic diversity. People are going to bring in different skills. They'll bring in different traditions and customs, uh, different beliefs. But out of all that diversity, there will be some negative effects. Um, if we look at, for example, Germany, the Germans and the Scots Irish were the largest non-English European immigrant groups. And these different groups didn't always get along well. In fact, Benjamin Franklin, he's quoted as making a complaint that many English colonists would probably agree with. He said, "Why should the Germans be suffered to swarm into our settlements and by herding together establish their language and manners to the exclusion of ours? Why should Pennsylvania, founded by the English, become a colony of aliens or immigrants who will shortly be so numerous as to Germanize us instead of our Anglifying them?" And so we see this problem of immigration. It's not something that we're just now dealing with. Ever since the beginning of our country, you see, because we're such a diverse group of people, you see that sometimes there will be resentment. And animosity towards people that speak differently than you, that have different customs and traditions than you, and it's just something as that our society has continued to have to deal with. Um, and the English aren't the only ones that are viewing other groups with suspicion. There's a German clergyman who urged the young people of his community not to marry Scots Irish. He said that the Scots Irish were lazy, immoral, and poor. And so, you know, it worked both ways, and people of different ethnic groups were suspicious of each other. But at the end of the day, though, in spite of this distrust, immigrants from many different countries were able to live side by side, and this allowed this evolution of a truly diverse American society to form. Once again, we're going to look at the Salem witch trials a little bit in one of your in-class activities, so I won't spend too much time with that. Hopefully you're able to complete your notes by watching these two videos. Remember, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me during class. Thanks.